What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Yammie Noob, and today we're doing something a little bit different. You know how we normally say that you should get a beginner bike that you don't have to really wrench on, one that you can just ride and isn't too crusty? Well, Josh here decided to do the exact opposite of that advice and pick up a 1999 SV650 that kinda sorta worked. And now he's basically built it into this ultimate Franken SV650 with parts from all sorts of different motorcycles. And I dragged him into here to explain what he's done to this motorcycle. So stay tuned, it's gonna be a good one. Alrighty, so Josh, explain to the people at home who you are, what you do here, and why you got this motorcycle as your beginner bike.
Yeah, so I am not just some random guy that they flagged down off the street because they saw how awesome my SV was.
Yeah, no, I just walked outside and was like, hey, you, I need you for a video, come on in.
Yeah, explain yourself. No, nothing like that. I work on the back end here. I do business development, I work with our sponsors, and grow the Yammie Noob brand. So that's all types of stuff that nobody really cares about, but I appear in front of a camera, you know, every now and then when they need either a short person or
a Suzuki simp.
A Suzuki simp. Those are really my specialties. Yeah, but I've been riding for like 2-3 years, almost 3 years now. And I probably, like a lot of you guys, bought an SV650 because it was an S-tier bike in one of Yam's videos. I was like, what's the best beginner bike? Okay, well, he said either MT-07 or SV650, and then I just went and confirmed all of that with a bunch of other, you know, internet voices, and started Craigslisting around, and I found this turd. Yeah.
So let's show the people at home what this bike started as, because you have put a ton of effort into this motorcycle. So we'll put up on screen an image of this motorcycle when it first showed up, because it was a rough, crusty nugget, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I looked when I saw you roll up on it the first time we met. I was like, oh boy, that's a rough one.
Yeah, I was probably 15 minutes late because I couldn't get it to start or something like that, most likely.
So this motorcycle has undergone quite a transformation, and we're gonna go over basically all of the stuff that you've done to this, because there's nowhere on this motorcycle you haven't been. But the first thing I'm noticing is you don't have a dashboard.
Yeah.
That seems like there might be an issue there, huh?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, at first I thought it was gonna be an issue, and then I realized there are fantastic apps on my phone for like $2, $3 for an app. All I gotta do is mount my now 7-inch TFT display onto my handlebar with my trusty Rockform mount, and I'm good to go. I have a better dash that's more accurate than any of yours. But that's the route I went. I've thought Trail Tech, Vapor Dash, stuff like that, but you know, it really doesn't bother me. I don't have a gear position indicator, but I've driven standard cars for a long time and I know when to shift, so it's fine.
So you have decided to forego the dashboard entirely for the choice of the Rockform phone mount.
That's right.
You just use mine as a little bit of a companion right there. But yeah, I mean, guys, we use Rockforms on our own bikes very clearly. So we don't just say to go get stuff because we don't believe in it. No, I've ridden with a Rockform. Josh, you've ridden with a Rockform. We've got them on the shop bikes. These are awesome phone mounts. They've been drop tested from 6 feet, the cases have. And if you want to get a phone mount, a phone screen, glass cover, whatever kind of accessory you want for your phone, click the link down below, check out Rockform, use the code YN25 and get yourself 25% off your whole order. Remember, Rockform doesn't just make cases and mounts, they make all sorts of stuff for your phone, so be sure to check them out down below. Now, I need you to explain yourself here, because I'm looking at what I'm fairly certain are Ducati Panigale blinkers up here.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. A keen eye you have.
I know, because I ripped them off the Ducati Panigale.
Exactly, yeah. So they came from the Yammie Spike Tail Tidy shop. They were garbage blinkers that were going in the trash, and they looked nicer than the giant old floppy ones that I had on there. So yeah, splice a couple wires, stick them on there, and they're working great. I have to tighten them from time to time like it's a Harley Davidson, but I mean,
it is a V-twin.
It is a V-twin, and it has a nice little rumble. They work great. You know, that stuff on the bike like this is always changing. I can change my look at any point of blinkers and headlights and stuff like that. Taillight is also, you know, another jank story as well. But yeah, those are off of the giveaway V2 that we had here a few months ago.
So what's going on with these forks that it's all bolted to? Because it looks like this is a custom fab bracket using clip-ons and all sorts of craziness on there.
Yeah, I didn't do that. So the guy I bought this from was like the most NASCAR homie you'd ever meet. His name was like literally Troy Buck. And I know. These are clip-ons. These are 50 millimeter clip-ons that are turned all the way around, cut the bar at an angle, TIG welded, whatever it is, to these little custom triangle brackets that hold the headlight on there. And they'll be replaced eventually, but I haven't gotten there yet because it hasn't stopped working. That
is unbelievable. And then I'm clocking that this is not a Suzuki SV650 front end on here. This is very significant compared to the SV650.
Yeah. So these are Gixxer 750 front forks off of a 98 SRAD model. So these are the longest and tallest Gixxer forks that you can get. So they're really pretty ideal for getting the geometry right on an SV. They're not pretty in gold, but you know, geometry comes before vanity.
And they are fully adjustable, I see, which that's one thing that you are not able to get on a stock SV650. So
correct.
I guess maybe that's one reason to get yourself a 1999 project track bike, whatever the hell this was, before you reconverted it into your street bike.
That's right. Yeah, check back in a year. This is going to be a fully faired race bike. Like, I'm going to get this thing off the street pretty soon here. I have a rear shock off of a 08636 that's also fully adjustable.
Is that what's sitting on the table over there?
Yeah. So this is a work in progress. I've been cutting back. There's some brackets that hold the battery in place that you have to remove. You don't actually have to cut the battery box if you buy the right shock. But
you bought the wrong shock and crammed it in there.
No. I bought the right shock. It's going to work out, you know. You can check my Instagram. I'll put up photos of it eventually. But yeah, this is just, yesterday I was actually in there at night looking at how this gets done, and it's doable, but it's a hefty modification. It's not the same as switching out handlebars.
So I think I'm also clocking some different calipers on here. What's up with your front brake situation?
Yeah, so if you know anything about your Gixxer history, the 750 and 1000 from previous years, and even our Hayabusa, has 6-pot calipers on the front. And they work fine, but there's really no way, according to more internet voices, to get proper feel and feedback from those calipers, no matter what you do. So these are off of the same year Gixxer 600. And 4-pot calipers, like the industry decided to go with after they kind of shunned the 6-pot calipers. And I did those a few weeks ago, bought them off eBay, rebuilt them myself. I can show a photo of that because those were disgusting. I would believe they were fully underground when somebody ripped them off that bike. Now they're beautiful. Fully rebuilt and working great.
And then if I follow the lines up here, that is definitely not a stock master cylinder you got there. That is, that's looking a little bit fancy.
Yeah. Radio mounted Brembo master cylinder off of a Daytona 675R. Parts bin parts that happen to be laying around here. As you guys know, Papa Yam is always wrecking his race bike, and he's replaced his master cylinder with the RCS 19 that's fully adjustable and everything. So I couldn't let that nice master cylinder, I think it's a 15 millimeter master, just sit there. And so I put it on my bike, and it is killer. Major upgrade from the stock Nissan that they have there.
So and this is a big carbureted bike. We've been swapping carb stories.
Yeah.
How was getting those all sorted?
Whew, you could guess. You could probably imagine. I have pulled these carburetors out to either play with air-fuel ratios, or like when I first got it, I took them out and replaced every rubber, every filter, everything inside of them. I have not started to tune the jets yet. That's something I will be doing in the near future, but one step at a time. So I've cleaned them a ton. You know, when I put this tank on there, this is a different tank that I had painted because the first one had a giant dent in the front.
I put this tank, like the size of a cantaloupe. That,
At least.
that dent.
Absolutely, yeah. It had been wrecked. So this tank I had put on, it wasn't perfectly clean on the inside. Ended up getting some pookie in my carburetors, and that is a constant battle. I now run an inline fuel filter to help slow down that process of jamming up my jets. But you know, it works fine. The thing is, once you learn about your carburetors, I can pull these things out in 20 minutes, have them on my table, get the bottoms of them open, clean the float bowl, check the fuels filter inside of them, change jets out if I want to. You know, it's a constant chasing to try and figure out how to remove D-cell pops and remove pops at idle and fix it up with when you change your exhaust in your air filter. That's the story with carburetors. You got to do all the adjustments yourself, and it's a pain in the butt, but it's very empowering. It feels cool to like get it right and like totally rebuild your carbs, stick them back on there. In an hour and a half, I'm done, and the bike is running killer.
So what would you say has been the single most transformative mod you have done to this motorcycle?
It's either just repairing this, or probably the one I feel the most on the road is putting these tires on there. So
you had mismatched like old sport touring rubber on there, right?
Yeah. Well, when I bought it, the front tire was like absolutely bald to where I didn't even want to sit on the bike. And then I saw one in the yard of this chop shop we were at, like sitting in the sun. And the guy was like, $50, you got it, it'll fit your bike. And so I ran that one for a year or so. And now I've got these Conti Sport Attack or Street Attack 4s. I can't remember. It's either Road Attack or Street Attack 4s. They are fantastic premium tires, extremely aggressive, and it literally changed everything when I put really nice tires on here. So that was the case. I only bring up the muffler because it's actually shortened by about 1 inch to 2 inch. It used to be a little bit longer, but all of the rivet holes here were all coming loose. I guess because it had been falling over on the side so many times. It would rattle. I mean, you could smell it all over my leg because of the massive leaks coming out there. So I chopped a couple inches off, drilled my own holes, put some rivets in there, repacked the muffler, and a little bit louder. I like the sound a little bit more, you know? And yeah, it doesn't rattle anymore.
Very cool. So bringing everything back to, you know, macro here, would you say that you have enjoyed the process of building this motorcycle up to be the beautiful Franken SV that we have in front of us? No, not at all. It has been painful. It has been frustrating. There's been so many days I want to ride and I just can't ride. Because this is your only motorcycle, guys. I'm not sure if we've said that before, but this is Josh's only motorcycle. Yeah. And
do this as a second motorcycle. Yeah. It is awesome, it's fulfilling, it's so satisfying. I love where the bike is now, but I'm 2 years into this. I could have put a lot more miles down if I had bought a Ninja 400 as a starter bike that was gonna boom every time, get me on the road. There's a lot of guys chopping up SV650s and making really, really cool stuff, but most of them, it's not their first bike. Yeah. And this is awesome, especially when you can let it sit and come back to it and not have to get so frustrated and lose out on riding.
So I know that you have like a deep tome of SV650 lore in your brain now. Yep. But would you recommend that you get a project bike as your first motorcycle like you did? You know, obviously this one was probably crustier than most projects. My DRZ was very similar. I've had to resuscitate that motorcycle many times on camera now because it just keeps falling apart and it's currently leaking oil over there. I've just seen a giant puddle of oil underneath it. That DRZ. So would you recommend that a beginner starts this way?
I really wouldn't. You know, I felt like I didn't have any other options. I'm an impulsive person. I overpaid for the price the bike as it was. I literally couldn't even test ride it because I didn't have an endorsement or know how to ride a bike yet. I just asked the dude to like take it down the street and run through 6 gears so I knew it could at least change gears. And I was like, good enough for me, I'll take it. No, it's not the way to do it. You know, I probably could have saved for another 6 months and gone out and bought a bike that was very reliable, much newer, and I would have ridden a lot more. Now, I love the SV650. You can even find these in really nice form right now. There's a lot of people collecting them out of places and trying to sell them online. But yeah, this crusty, this modified, this far from stock, I really wouldn't recommend it. But I have learned by the trial of fire, you know, all this I know about SV650s now because I just wanted a bike that ran.
So let's get to brass tacks here. How much did you buy the bike for?
$2,000.
How much you put into the bike, parts-wise?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. Probably well over $1,000.
So we're talking probably north of 3,000 bucks all into this motorcycle.
Yep. I'll take offers for $4,000, nothing less. I know what I got. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll never sell this thing, honestly. I really can't imagine selling it. I'm gonna get another bike for the street once this becomes track, but no, I'm not gonna sell it anymore.
Yeah, I think when you get this into a motorcycle, it really becomes a part of your soul. You just can't get rid of it anymore.
Yep.
This has been a truly eye-opening experience for me because this has solidified the fact that I do not want to get myself another carbureted project motorcycle, and probably, hopefully, has illuminated the fact you really shouldn't start this way. I mean, Josh did it. He's probably had a lot of fun throughout the process, despite the fact that you say you've been, you know, miserable sometimes.
Yep.
It is really cool to build a motorcycle back. But again, guys, if you're just starting out, get a motorcycle where you can spend more time riding than wrenching. I can tell you from personal experience, as Josh can, it is really a big bummer when you want to go out, ride your motorcycle, and it just kind of dies on you.
Yeah.
Been there before, and it is no fun. Now, with all that being said, big shout out to Rockform for supporting this video and giving Josh a dash for his motorcycle that, you know, it's the only way that you can really see exactly how fast you're going on a SV650 like this.
Why I messed that up?
You're having a hard time putting that Rockform on there,
we'll do that later.
We're just gonna leave that right in there.
Yep.
He hasn't practiced like I have. So, with all that being said, thanks for checking out this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something about the project motorcycle life. Catch you guys in the next one.
You've made it to the end of a Yammie Noob video. Did you like what you saw? Do you want to see more of it? Check it out, right here, just like magic, waiting for you. Click this little square right here. More memes, more Yammie, more of my face. Isn't that great?